to sort of look ahead and like, I'll do that then, but there's always going to be the thing that happens then too, right? It's never going to be perfect. Jump now. All right, welcome to the epilogue of episode 1 of Me in the Quest. Fairly low-key hangout at the end of the main episode. Today I want to talk about some lessons I learned about creativity, and maybe you could also loop in like productivity, kind of getting things done, doing big things. Lessons I learned from 2020. Obviously a hard year, but what are a couple of silver linings thing that I learned that I think will help me going forward. So one is just this idea, something that I kind of knew and believed for a while, but such a great, clear example this year. Just that having a clear project to work on, especially something that is meaningful to you, can be one of the biggest contributors to healthy mental state, right? So one of the biggest things that can help with our mental health is having a meaningful project to work on. One of the biggest influences on my life and on this Me in the Quest project, actually in general, is a man named Viktor Frankl and his work, something called logotherapy. Really famous book called Man's Search for Meaning, which I can't recommend enough. But this is one of his big takeaways, is that having a meaningful project to work on can be the difference between a fulfilled, content, sort of healthy mental state and the opposite, right? Sort of falling into despair, depression, all those things. And I think, for me, like everyone, this year had its moments of that. A lot of it for me is just my temperament. I kind of go up and down a little bit anyways. And so, and then this year was so up and down, or mostly just down and sideways, not a whole lot of ups. But yeah, just, I think having, I launched this thing I called Ben and the Family Quest, which is still going. Ben and the Family Quest is, it's number one, it's the name under which I make music right now. It's my artist name. So I have 4 songs out as Ben and the Family Quest. But it also represents this commitment I made, a 1,000-day commitment to just keep making things, putting myself out there over and over again, experimenting, to really test out, some of these things I think I want to do, and I think I can be good at. This podcast, this video is part of that, is learning and learning when what you want to learn is, can I do this in front of people? The only way to learn is to learn in front of people. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm doing. And so, yeah, but when I started Ben in the Family Quest, the start of my 1,000-day announcement was my birthday, March 18th. And it was the exact day that in Maine, things started to shut down. I remember walking around Main Street of our town with my wife. We were about to go pick up dinner that was takeout because they had just stopped doing dine-in. And just talking about kind of the craziness of it, and it's going to be a weird couple weeks, right? Just so crazy. But I was right on the fence about kind of going public with some of these things, because I actually kicked things off with a crowdfunding project that I didn't actually end up making much money off of, because I didn't promote it, because it felt weird when like the economy fell apart to then be pushing, hey, you want to give me some money so I can buy a camera and I'll, record a cover song for you in return. Like it felt gross and weird, and it didn't work, which is fine. But I went public with it, and I'm so glad I did, because, when I was considering not going public with it, I was like, I'll just launch it next month or in June, and again, life wouldn't have been any better, any easier, any more clear. And actually that's another one of my lessons, right? Is that you always want to, it's so easy to sort of look ahead and like, I'll do that then, but there's always going to be the thing that happens then too, right? There's always something that makes it not the perfect time to launch, to jump, to do the thing. Maybe more than, oh man, yeah. It's such an important lesson that I'm taking away, is like, I'm so glad I just did it, because even though I thought like in a couple months things were going to be back to normal, I went for it anyways. I'm so glad I did, because I honestly don't know. I I don't know that I would have ever gone public. I think I might have just pivoted and like done something totally different. And I've just had a really good year creatively. Just I've learned a lot about myself and kind of what I'm kind of honing some skills and not pursuing some things I thought I wanted to pursue. And I've just learned a lot. And I think I wouldn't have ever started, I don't think, if I delayed. So yeah, that's a big takeaway for me, is that number one, having the importance for my mental health and for anyone's mental health, and having a meaningful project to work on. And then just that, don't delay because like, next month, next year's, everything will kind of be more in line and I can do the thing. Like, it's never going to be perfect. Jump now. The importance of pivoting and being able to pivot, it's a word that's being thrown around a lot this year. But it is important, like, when things don't go quite your way, to have some sort of like, you can grieve it really quickly. Like, that thing I spent time on, it's not going to happen. But I think as creative people, we can't spend too much time, grieve. There needs to be a grieving process, but like, let's get over it now. And like, let's create something else. Like, that thing didn't work. And maybe because of something like 2020, where it was something that was out of my control, it didn't work like I thought. But a lot of the things a lot of the work I put into crafting my crowdfunding thing that I didn't really actually do much with, a lot of that energy and sort of planning that went into that, I actually was able to use a lot of that content for other things. And so it wasn't a waste at all. It was a pivot. It went differently than I thought. And so that's fine. I'm checking my computer over here to see, there's something else I wrote down. Oh yeah. The last one I was going to say, is a lesson I feel like, again, I've been learning over time, especially in the last few years, but it was just very apparent again this year, is that art is not just superfluous. Superfluous? Is that the word? I don't know. But art, stories, creativity, this stuff actually matters. It's important. And a year like this with so much hardship, there's also a lot of really great art and the importance of art and things we're missing that we didn't realize, like concerts and movie theaters and live theater, like live plays and other like community where you're in a room together and you're all experiencing something together. We're missing that, and it just goes to show how important that is. And then also like some of the great art, music and film and other stuff that's been made. That's been made since everything kind of went down, and has helped us process it, or has helped distract us from it, or whatever it is. Art really matters. Like, creative work actually matters. It has a real tangible positive impact, and that's something I know, but I can also fall back into the trap that like, I can almost feel like it's selfish or something to want to pursue a life of just making things and communicating ideas and all that. And I'm just, this year was just brought with it lots of examples of just how important that stuff is. And so it's kind of inspired me to just keep pursuing what I believe to be the gift I bring to the world, which is some creativity and sharing ideas and exploring ideas and trying to create community in these things. Because that stuff matters. And so those are my thoughts on some of the things I'm taking away from 2020. I'm curious, let me know if you're watching on YouTube, comment on YouTube, on Instagram at Me and the Quest for the show, and or me personally at Ben and the Family Quest. I'd love to kind of talk about what your takeaways are from 2020, and it can be like on a really personal level. It can be sort of as it relates to creativity and art and or productivity, whatever it is. I think there are some, like, obviously we are so ready. Like, let's leave 2020 behind. Let's break up with 2020, never to be seen again. Can't wait. But like, let's not, something like this. It's such a cataclysmic shift for all of us. Like, let's not gloss over the lessons to be learned either. So, that's that. New episodes, both on YouTube and in podcast app, hopefully hitting about the same time. Wednesdays, new episodes every Wednesday. Make sure you subscribe. Like, comment, thumbs up on YouTube, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. All that stuff really does help. Share with your friends, and make sure you're a part of this going forward, because I'm really excited about what this year and just the future in general is going to hold. So talk to you next week. See ya. Thanks.